I'm Marcus Charles. I just got done with a seminar here in Grand Blanc, Michigan, and Carl Carlisle brought me out here, and it was a good time, a very good time. I teach JKD and Kali, Jeet Kune Do and Kali. Jeet Kune Do is Bruce Lee, JKD concepts to be more precise. Kali is a Filipino martial art, and Jeet Kune Do is Bruce Lee's interpretation of various arts. So it's a blend of a lot of different things. I live in Chicago. The gym that I train at is also the gym that I teach at, and that's Flow MMA in Chicago, Illinois. I travel to California to train with most of my instructors, and I travel to different parts of the country to train with the different instructors that I have. I have Guru Dan Inosanto, Paul Vunak, Tom Cruise, the real Tom Cruise, not the movie star Tom Cruise, Sifu Francis Fong, and Sensei Eric Paulson, Keith Witowski out of Indiana, Sifu Keith Witowski, Guru David Hatch out of here in Michigan, and I've also trained with Tony Cecchini, he's a catch wrestler, and John Spenzano, I hope I spelled it right, John, or said it right, John, he's out of California as well. Boxing coach, Asher Aesop, so another guy. Basically, in progressive fighting systems, straight from Paul, had a really cool phrase, quiet mind, dangerous body, compassionate soul. And it's a three-point principle that I really hold highly to. Having that quiet, calm mind, you know, I would try to relax and get some sleep, and the mind is just racing and racing and racing. You can't get anything done. Dangerous body, the dangerous body is basically just being in shape, and compassionate soul is caring about other people. But to have the blend of all three, where you can keep your mind at ease and be relaxed, be physically conditioned, a dangerous body, and to care about others, is, I feel, an awesome goal for all of us as martial artists to achieve. Because then we could help each other instead of fighting each other. Most people get into martial arts, especially guys when we're younger, we want to bang. We got an issue, we got some axes to grind, we want to, you know, we got beat up or picked on or whatever it is. Very few are telling the truth if they come up to an instructor and say, well, I've seen Enter the Dragon and I want to learn discipline and I want to learn to get in touch with myself. Sorry. As you get older and you have gotten into altercations, whether it's in the ring, on the street, whatever the case may be, you tend to get a sense of confidence about yourself of what you've learned. And then you don't have that fear. And this comes straight from one of my instructors, Paul Vunak, and Tom Cruise, and I'm sure all of my instructors feel this way, they've just actually said it. Where when you don't have a fear of something coming at you, and you don't get that as nervous, and when you feel calm about yourself, then all of a sudden, people tend to gravitate towards you. They say, hey, this guy's got his act together. Then people who don't have their act together, need some help, need a little bit of guidance, you can give that to them because you've already been there. So I think it does, it does bring a certain spiritual side to you. And again, that comes straight from Sifu Paul and Guru Tom. And I'm averaging maybe 1 or 2 a month. I'm actually finishing up this month's mini tour at Flow MMA, which is the gym that I teach at. I'm finishing that up next Saturday. So, and I enjoy doing them because I feel I can expose the art and the philosophies from my instructors and my own take on it to different parts of the country. And I get to meet different people, you know, there's a lot of different cultures within our own culture here in America, you know, so it's fun. Well, I come off of about 5 or 6 years ago, a major spine injury, and it was a very difficult task to decide if I wanted to do this anymore. And the injury had nothing to do with my training. So mentally, I had to develop myself on beating that. And what I'm trying to do is now to develop that blend of the mind, body, soul connection. And that's where the quiet mind, dangerous body, compassionate soul comes in. Where I'm not just worrying about the physical part anymore. Because I'm getting older now, things are starting to deteriorate, it happens. So how do you develop what else is left to challenge? I mean, I can't you know, go and bang with a 20-year-old all the time. I mean, it doesn't happen anymore for guys like us. But I have to keep growing. So I have to, you know, keep up my physical skill. So as far as a specific goal, I really don't have any right now. I just want to keep growing and developing myself, because the more I develop myself, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, then my students will get that as well. And that's my goal. I want to start giving back everything that I've gotten from all my instructors throughout the past 25 plus years. A lot of these instructors I've had developed very personal relationships with them as well. They're still my instructors. However, a lot of them have become big brothers, personal friends of mine as well, which I think is really awesome, you know. I had a few months back, I'd say about August and September, end of July, my mother got diagnosed with cervical cancer. And I was doing a seminar, I was having a seminar in Illinois, Chicago. Tom Cruise was there. And I was driving him, and he was like, you know, hey, what's the matter? You know, he's looking at me, he's like, what's the matter with you? You know, and I'm like, I got nothing. He goes, what's the matter? Were you fighting with your girlfriend or something? You know, I'm like, no. So I ran it down, didn't tell him what was going on. And, you know, my mom's going through all this cancer treatment, my grandfather's in a hospital, my grandfather had a stroke at the same time, right? And my grandmother just passed away, and that's pretty much my family. And so I was, you know, fighting that while I was doing my training and for the seminar. And he goes, pull the car over. I'm like, okay, so I pulled it over. And he goes, listen, what you're dealing with are very serious issues, real issues. But you're fighting it, he tells me. You're fighting it. Accept that these things are happening. And when you accept that these things are happening, then you can deal with it. And then when you can deal with it, you can deal with everything. You won't have the stress that I feel off of you. And he pulls me over, gives me a hug, kisses me on the cheek. That's a friend. I mean, a friend should be doing that, but I got an instructor, a guy who travels worldwide, doing this to me. I got Eric Paulson texting me, how's your ma doing? Every week, okay? Paul Vunak, hey bro, how you doing? Anything I could do for you? You know, because of what was going on. When I was in California for Guru Dan's instructor camp, one of my instructors, Grandmaster Tony Samara from the Haron group, I came there and he knew that, you know, what was going on with my mom. He had said that they said a big prayer at the school, you know, like a prayer chant type of thing, for my mom. Now, these are the things that, it ain't about banging. I mean, the guys that I train with are the best. They're the best, okay? But there's always, like I said before, there's always third best, fourth best, and fifth best. When I'm down here, you know, 20th or 30th best, and you know what I mean? I got a lot of guys I can go to train with. But when I got these guys telling me this, taking that personal time about me, you know what I mean? And calling me a friend, telling me I'm like a family to them, and worrying about me in here. I had friends that I thought were my friends never even picked up the phone and were worried about what was going on with my family. And I got instructors who have millions of people all over the world calling them, and they take out the time to worry about me, little old me. That is phenomenal. That's a martial art instructor. That's not only a friend, but I mean, that's a martial art instructor. And those guys, Keith Witowski, picking up the phone or hitting me on Facebook, telling me, hey, you know, I hope everything goes okay. You need anything, let me know. Just those little statements, you know, that's an instructor. Those are the things that make me stick with all the different people that I work with. It's not just their skill. They're the best of the best, there's no doubt. But those are the things that make me stick. And I want to be that way to my students. I want to be that way to my instructors as well. But I want to be that way to my students. If that's one thing I learned from these guys, outside of learning how to beat the crap out of people, it's about having that compassionate soul. And all of those guys did that. All the people I mentioned to you did that. You know, Guru Dan, when I'd see him, everything okay. Seen with Deborah calling, you know, Eric Paulson, all of these, his wife Tonya, all of them were worried. Simo Paula, Guru Dan's wife, I'd get an email, you know, let us know if we could do anything, you know, stuff like that. You know, nobody has to do that. There's no reason for them to do that outside of just being good people. That's the martial art community that I like, that personal relationship that you get. If you don't have that, then it's just a business. Then how do you know if they really have your best interest in heart when you're going to compete or they're teaching you something? How do you know they just don't want your money? These guys, at least with me, I know that they care about me. And that's why I stick with them. So, and that's the way I want to be towards my students.